Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome to our Temple Beth Or virtual sanctuary. I understand from our video master, David Youngman, we have about 20 of you joining us from the comfort of your own home. So we extend to you Shabbat Shalom, the cantor, Dr. Ray Irwin, and myself. We wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom. We have a few members of our congregation with us this evening, just to help liven the room here. Cantor and I aren't used to playing to an empty room, so we will do our best. This coming week, there is nothing going on at the temple. So be sure not to come. If you do, be sure to keep your 6 feet distance from everyone you meet while you are here. We will be streaming worship services next Friday as well at 7:30 on this same Shabbat channel. Oh, right. And we are doing something new tomorrow morning, 10:30 in the morning on Zoom. This will be a different link. The link was set out previously. We will be engaging in our weekly Torah study, albeit in our virtual sanctuary. But the Zoom conference gives us the opportunity for people to ask questions and feedback, and so we will just be engaging in our Torah study. Feel free to brew a nice fresh cup of coffee or tea or your favorite morning beverage as we delve into this week's Torah portion. I believe that is it. In the screen, on your screen, you should see our graphics and our words to our Shabbat service this evening. And with that, we begin with a thought and a meditation. Out of an abundance of caution, we are staying home. Out of an abundance of caution, I am washing my hands for at least 20 seconds. Sometimes singing the ABCs, sometimes singing the Itsy Bitsy Spider, and sometimes saying a prayer. Out of an abundance of caution, I am telling people how much I love them every day, sometimes multiple times a day. I can get annoying. Out of an abundance of caution, I am waving frantically to the stranger across the street while I am out for my walk, making eye contact, smiling, and saying hello. Out of an abundance of caution, I am not using the expression social distancing. Physical distancing, yes. Social distancing? No way. Out of an abundance of caution, I am subscribed to a joke a day. Out of an abundance of caution, I am looking out for people who might be stressed and hungry for food and love and giving more than I have before. Out of an abundance of caution, I am paying attention more than ever to the words of my prayers. Out of an abundance of caution, I have faith that love and kindness are contagious too. Out of an abundance of caution, I am telling you, I am here for you. I care about us. I need you. And I want everyone to know we are all in this together. Indeed, we are in this together, and we have traveled in our separate quarantine zones in the privacy of our homes. We have interacted with friends on phone or Facebook. We have waved at neighbors from across the street. It might feel like we are truly alone, but in truth we are not. We travel not only with us, our physical beings ourselves, but we travel with all of those who have come before us. We travel with spiritual guests and visitors. We travel with memories. We travel with a connection to the Jewish people that spans over 4,000 years, and we travel with a connection to this congregation, Temple Beth Or. We reach out to you via the email and by phone calls in order to help establish that connection and remind us that we are not alone. And so we greet all of the travelers that have journeyed with us this past week, those of flesh and blood, those of memory, and those of spiritual essence, with the words of Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, Malachei hashalom, Malachei hashalom, Malachei elyon, Mi melech, Malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei hashalom, Malachei, Malachei elyon, Mi melech, Malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei hashalom, Malachei hashalom, Malachei elyon, Mi melech, Malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mi melech, Malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mi melech, Malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
After a very strange week, what a beautiful melody to share with us on this Shabbat. I've added another brief ritual to my candle lighting, a very private one. I decided that at candle lighting each Friday night, I would let my thoughts dwell for a moment on each of my children, picture their faces, and think about their lives. I once mentioned this to them, and now they all light candles on Friday night and think a few moments about us. During this difficult and awkward time, I invite you to think for just a moment before we light our Shabbat candles about all of your family members, those who are here close by, those who may be living far away. But let us transcend that physical distance we feel from them on this Shabbat and bring ourselves closer together in our minds and in our hearts and indeed in our souls. In a moment, we will light our Shabbat candles. Hopefully those of you at home have had the opportunity to set up some candles on a table nearby. Go ahead and get your matches ready and we will kindle our lights. I am honored to invite Karen Youngman to help light our Shabbat candles. Not yet, though. May the rest and quiet of this hour of worship refresh our inner life and renew in us the sense of holiness. Fill our hearts with Shabbat peace and serenity that we may hear the voice of our inmost soul and be moved to build our lives on the abiding foundations of all that is holy. That is what Shabbat must be for us, not to tear the world apart, not to wrestle with time, but rather to let warmth and care and light come forth from deep within ourselves. These candles represent our setting aside this holy time. Their light illumines our innermost selves. Their brightness is a reminder of our constant hope.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Sorry.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, source of all being, who calls us to holy acts through mitzvot and inspires us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah
Shabbat Shalom, Karen. Thank you. Speaking and listening are both endangered activities in our culture. There is so much information exchanged each day and each hour that it is hard to pay attention to our speech. Are we saying what we really need to say? Are we speaking from the heart? Do we know when not to speak? And as for listening, who can hear anything amid all the noise around us all these days? There is such a flood of messages coming in. How can we discern which are important or even holy? In prayer, we speak from the heart. It does not matter if we are sure who is listening, if we don't understand how prayer is supposed to work, if we're not certain we even believe in prayer at all. For moments at a time, we can set our questions aside and just say what we need to say. What a relief to be able to speak as loudly as we want or as softly, without worrying about being understood, without anticipating the other's response. Jewish practice gives us rich ways to speak and to listen. When we need to speak to God, when we are too filled with joy or despair or concern to hear anything but what is in our own hearts, then it is time to pray. And so we continue with the words of our Baruch Hu, our call to worship. I invite you, if you would care to join us, to rise as you are able at home.
Yain lai 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 lai
We may be seated. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvanam meshanei itim umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or, umavir yom umevi layla umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimlo chalenu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. What is this life if, full of care, we have no time to stand and stare? We read together. No time to stand beneath the boughs and stare as long as sheep and cows. No time to see when woods we pass where squirrels hide their nuts in grass. No time to see in broad daylight streams full of stars like skies at night. No time to turn at beauty's glance and watch her feet, oh how they dance. No time to wait till her mouth can enrich that smile her eyes begin. A poor life this if full of care, we have no time to stand and stare. Perhaps these days we may have too much time to stand and to stare at each other, to stare around our houses, to look for things to stimulate us. At one time, we were comfortable with just looking around at the world around us. As our life progressed and as our impatience progressed, we grew uncomfortable with moments of silence. We grew uncomfortable with just watching and listening. I know this is a very strange time for us to be isolated in our homes, to be separated from each other and from close proximity to our friends. But in this time, there's an opportunity for us to really help retool how we approach life, to retool our thinking, and more importantly, to retool our behavior. This time will pass. No doubt we will emerge once again. But let us find ways to fill these times with meaningful activities with family and with friends, albeit through the computer or the phone, meaningful activities for ourselves, walks in nature, and an opportunity to listen to birds. These are the everyday miracles waiting for us to discover. May we have the strength and the courage to keep hold of the idea that there is more to life than our doings. Indeed, much of life passes by while we are so busy engaged in our activities. Let us stop and look and listen to life.
If you're lost, you feel afraid, and you don't know what to say, then listen to our God. Is there a question on your mind? Is the answer hard to find? Then listen to our God. Listen with all your heart and soul, and with all your mind. Write them and learn them and teach them well, every morning and night. Close your eyes and listen. Quiet yourself, there's nothing to say. Stop all the chatter that gets in the way.
Oh God, we come so often with needs to be satisfied. Tonight we come to you in gratitude for what we have and for what we are. Help us to make our home a sanctuary, warmed by reverence, adorned by tradition, with family bonds that are strong and enduring, based on love, truth, trust, and affection. Grant us gratitude enough to look backward and to be thankful, courage enough to look forward and be hopeful, faith enough to look upward and be humble, kindness enough to look outward and to be helpful. And in the week ahead, help us to live the words we pray, so that all that we have done may be found good and worthy of your blessing. I love this midrash. Teaching of our rabbis about what possibly happened before the Israelites walked through the split sea of reeds. We too are facing very troubled waters. We feel ourselves trapped by this COVID-19 on the one hand, by economic upheaval on another, by job loss, by job suspensions, by uncertainties all around us. All the more so to remind ourselves of Nachshon. According to Jewish tradition, the waters of the Sea of Reeds did not part for the people of Israel until one single Israelite Nachshon plunged headlong into the raging waters. We too stand at the shore of a vast sea. Like Nachshon, we too must take the first step. We too must act so that God might make the waters part, bringing redemption to our people and freedom to all the peoples of the earth. Then shall we, like the children of Israel before us, sing together this song of freedom. I did have those slides.
Oh.
Sorry about that. Still working the bugs out of our streaming services. We continue reading responsively. Help us, O God, to lie down in peace, but teach us that peace means more than quiet.
Remind us that if we are to be at peace at night, we must take heed how we live by day.
Grant us the peace that comes from honest dealing, so that no fear of discovery will haunt our sleep.
Rid us of resentments and hatreds that rob us of the peace we crave.
Liberate us from enslaving habits that disturb us and give us no rest.
May we inflict no pain, bring no shame, and seek no profit by another's loss.
May we so live that we can face the whole world with serenity.
May we feel no remorse at night for what we have done during the day.
May we lie down in peace tonight, O God, and awaken tomorrow to a richer and fuller life. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. As we come to Shabbat and an opportunity for us to truly find creative ways to observe Shabbat, it is important for us to remind ourselves that this holiday occurs every week, to set aside time for family, albeit in a rather awkward kind of situation. Nonetheless, we celebrate this Shabbat and our opportunity to be together, both online and in your various homes with friends who have gathered together, family members who are by your side. Now is a good time to offer them an elbow or a blow a kiss, or whatever you feel comfortable with doing as we remember to and remind ourselves to continue to keep and to celebrate this very precious holiday. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat.
V'shamru, v'shamru, v'nei Yisrael, et HaShabbat, la'asot, et HaShabbat, ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru, v'shamru, v'nei Yisrael, et HaShabbat, la'asot, et HaShabbat,
A toddler thinks that he cannot walk, but she can. A child fears that he will never swim, but he will. Many of our limitations in life are more perceived than real. It is only ghosts which are holding us back. In Hebrew, the word for lips, sfatai, sfatai would be my lips, is the same word as for banks, as in river banks. The banks of a river define its limits and sometimes even crowd out the words. And so when we say, Adonai sefatai tiftach, Adonai, open my lips, we are also saying, Adonai, help me see beyond my perceived limitations. Especially as we gather in this week of shutdowns and quarantine periods, we feel ourselves all the more limited. In some ways, it's appropriate for us to be limited to help stop the spread of this very threatening disease. It is more than just a flu, and we hope to spare members of our community and our friends from being in close proximity to this disease and us being inadvertently a transmitter of what might be harmful to them. Judaism teaches us pikuach nefesh. We must do everything we can to save a life. And so we embrace this time where we set limits on ourselves. But there are other parts of us that are truly limitless. Our imagination, our intelligence. With books, with movies, with all kinds of activities, we can continue to grow and expand the horizons of our minds. You can join us tomorrow morning for our Torah study. Tremendous resources are available to us. YouTube videos and all kinds of instructions are out there waiting for us to discover. And so let us move beyond this physical limitation so that we might continue to expand the horizons of our understandings. And as we turn to our tefillah, this time of prayer, let us feel ourselves as well, unbound by the limitations that we have put on ourselves in various ways, and find ways to live more, to love more.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chastei Avot Ve'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava Nalech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai Mechaye hakol atah Rav lehoshia Mashiv haruach umorid hagashem Mechalkel chayim bechesed Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim Somech noflim verofei cholim Ulmatir asurim Umekayem ne'emunato Lishenei afar Michamocha ba'al gevurot Umidol melach Melech memid mechayeh u'matzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman ata lehachayot hakol Baruch ata Adonai mechayeh hakol Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kedoshim bechol yom yehallelu Selah Baruch ata Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
I invite us to read responsively. There is holiness when we strive to be true to the best we know.
There is holiness when we are kind to someone who cannot possibly be of service to us.
There is holiness when we promote family harmony.
There is holiness when we forget what divides us and remember what unites us.
There is holiness when we are willing to be laughed at for what we believe in.
There is holiness when we love truly, honestly, and unselfishly.
These quiet moments of Shabbat open my soul. Blessed with another week of life, I give thanks to all that sustains us. For all the good I have known during the days that have passed, I am truly grateful. I know I've not always responded with my best effort, but often I did earnestly try. I've tried to give my family love and devotion, and I pray that I may grow more loving as the years pass. Even as I regret my weakness, I rejoice in my accomplishments. May I be blessed on each Shabbat with the sense of having grown in goodness and in compassion. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. May the power of God this day enable me, the nakedness of God disarm me, the beauty of God silence me. May the justice of God give me voice, and the integrity of God hold me, the desire of God move me. May the fear of God expose me to the truth, and may the breath of God give me abundant life. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. May we find some peace on this Shabbat. May this rest that has both been forced upon us and that we choose to engage be one of restorative power, giving us new vision, clarity, and above all, a sense of calmness amongst the chaos in which we find ourselves. May we so live our lives in ways that we may warrant God's blessing of peace and bring that peace to all who are in need. Just as the hand held before the eye can hide the tallest mountain, so too the routine of everyday life can keep us from seeing the vast radiance and the secret wonders that fill this world. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech Adon Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam, Tasim le'olam, Tasim le'olam.
As we pray for peace, we also especially add to this time as COVID-19 continues to rear its ugly head in our community, our cities, our states, indeed the entire world. Want to include everyone in our prayers for wholeness and peace and healing. In a moment, the cantor will lead us in our Misha Berach prayer, and I will invite you in advance of that to share aloud from your places names of loved one that you would like to include in this prayer. Thus, we are able to engage them and to think of them and to keep them in all of our hearts and our thoughts at this time. May all who are facing such challenges to their health and their well-being be blessed on their journey, a journey that will bring them to a refuah shlema, a return to the wholeness they seek, the shalom that they desire. Please share aloud the name of loved ones that you would like to include in our prayers for healing.
Doug Austin, and we have online requests for Yocheved, Sarah Lebanon, Rivka, Adumar, Martha.
Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai rofei hacholim. We praise you, O God, who helps us bring hope and healing to those who are in need. And let us say, Amen.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah
Beautiful cantor. Thank you. Dr. Ray, thank you as well. David Youngman, thank you for streaming our worship services. And great thanks go out to Phil Carey, who helped with our brotherhood set up our streaming equipment. Phil, if you are watching, we even were able to sync up the laptop with the slides with a little picture-in-picture. So I was able to remember some of the things you taught me. So I thank you as well. The Mishaberach that our cantor sang for us this evening contains a phrase most telling at this time of year. El na refa na la. O God, please heal her. Those words were spoken first by Moses with regards to his sister Miriam, who had become stricken with leprosy. She and Aaron had in an inappropriate fashion, challenged Moses' leadership, and this was the punishment for questioning God's chosen one, Moses. She is struck with leprosy. Now, we at this point in time were traveling. We were semi-nomadic during our 40 years of wanderings. The Israelites did not wander all during those 40 years. Indeed, they would stop for a while in various places and move on when either the grasses ran out or the weather shifted or it was just time to move on. But something unique happens when Miriam is afflicted with leprosy. God tells Moses that she should spend the necessary days recuperating outside of the camp, as is normal procedure for anyone who is afflicted with this disease at that time. And so Miriam set herself up outside of the camp, but the Israelites did not move on while Miriam was recuperating. Our rabbis struggle with this, trying to figure out why the Torah has to tell us that the Israelites did not move on during the 7-day period. Because the Torah never tells us anything extraneous. Everything that is there is for a specific purpose. It invites us into dialogue. And so our rabbis understand that though it was time for the Israelites to leave, they did not move on while Miriam recuperated outside of the camp. The Israelites waited for Miriam to regain her health and her strength and to rejoin the community, to rejoin Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel, as they continued their journey. And so they waited for her. I think that's a rather telling kind of phrase as we look at our society today, as we deal with this illness and this threat of this COVID-19, its deadly effects. And as we self-isolate and self-quarantine from others and from helping to transmit this disease, we are in a fashion like the Israelites before. We are not moving on. Indeed, life has almost ground to a halt. With all the closures that have taken place. We are waiting as a community so that we might journey together once we have overcome the threat of this disease. Just as Miriam sat for the 7-day recuperation period and then rejoined the camp, and then the Israelites did indeed travel on, so too are there members in our community, perhaps, who are already suffering some of the effects of this illness. And certainly there are those of us who are affected by all of these closures that have taken place. And so as a community, we too wait. Like the children of Israel, we wait before we journey on so that we might continue our journey together, waiting until everybody is able to participate fully in the life of the community so that we can again hug each other, kiss each other, shake each other's hands. Or in lieu of that, bump elbows, blow kisses, and wait for that time when we would be able to again embrace one another. The children of Israel did not move on, and we are not moving on either, until all the members of our community can travel together with us. And so we do the next best thing. We stream our worship services. We call friends and family. And so I invite you during this weekend and even during this Shabbat, tomorrow, call some of your friends. Call some of the other members of our congregation. Check in with them. I am doing that. Some of our sisterhood members are doing that. Others are doing it. Pick up the phone and check in with people you know, people you haven't seen for a while. See if they are doing okay. Ask them if they need anything. And if you are willing to go shopping for them, let them know that. We will travel on together once the threat of this virus has passed. We will wait for all of our Miriams to rejoin our camp so that we can travel together in safety and in health. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We move to the conclusion of our worship service with the words of our Aleinu, the Adoration. Our thoughts now turn, one more announcement. I meant to make at the beginning before we move to the words of our Kaddish. We received a lovely certificate of appreciation from the Interfaith Food Council, acknowledging our recent contribution of food that we have brought to them just earlier in March. And no doubt it is much needed as people are finding limited resources in grocery stores, and especially those on limited income and facing food scarcity have few places to turn to during this time. And so the Interfaith Food Council sent us a special appreciation for the food that we have just recently collected and donated to them. We express our sincere gratitude for your contribution in support of our mission to help alleviate hunger in our community. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, those who live on in our hearts and in our memories. We call to mind those for whom we are observing the Shiva and Shloshim period. Ed Weil, the husband of Julie Weil. Agnes Fuchs, mother of Georgette Lilly, grandmother of Heather Kaplan and great-grandmother of Gabby and Lily and Miguel. Gloria Dallatorre Wyckoff, family member of Sandra Pascas. Cynthia Algra, sister of Mark Cudler, aunt of Jacob and Eliana Cudler. To those names, we link the names of those whose yahrzeits we are observing. Eileen Diamond, Rebecca Lippy Katz, Reba Roman, Donald Krieger, Harvey Maltz, Abraham Albert Nissim, Mark David Lehman, Pete Markley, Shirley Grossberg, Sybil Winograd, Shirley Altenew, Lou Piltz, Edward Fratello, Philip Rosenberg, Daniel Harris, Al Kritchmar, Samuel Fox, Julius Gordon, Edith Schwartz, and Simone Bogorod. And to those names, we link the names of those for whom we are observing the Kaddish period: Inga Spiegel, Adrian Casson, Florence Sachs, Cam Craig, Annette Raymond, Irving Drobny, Bernard Beskin, Nancy Zinberg, Howard Brookfield, Eric Lertzman, Sandra Lertzman, Michael Lertzman, Paula Marcus, Don Kessler, Catherine O'Salisbury, George Sachs, Adrian Henschel, Murray Gimbel, Margaret Hershkowitz, Dr. Gerhard Paskus, Jerry Robinson, Rebecca Lomelli, and Dwayne Craven. If there's a loved one whom you are remembering, I invite you to share that name aloud. To those that we have named in the quiet places of our hearts and memories, those that we have named aloud, we link as well the names and memories of the men and women of our armed forces who have given their lives for our liberties and our safe liberties and our freedoms here at home. As well, we call to mind those who have given their lives for our safety, the members of our police, our firefighters, our other first responders, and the members of the Israeli Defense Forces who have given their lives for the hope of peace. Zichronam levracha, may their memories always be for a blessing. As we share together the words of our Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemed rabbah, v'alma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari vimru. Amen. Yehi shemed rabbah mevarach leolam ulalme almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemed kudasha berichu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. May all of us who mourn and all of us who are bereaved, may we find through God's presence a source of strength, courage, and hope, above all a source of shalom, peace. And let us all say, Amen. We conclude this evening with the singing of Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Oh, something desperately needed. Peace for us and for all the world. A return to wholeness and security and safety and, of course, health. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Before we break, we want to have a chance to find our Kaddish blessings so that we might broadcast that for us as well as we prepare for our ending of our worship service time together. We have here buried somewhere, almost, oh goodness. Surely
This is what
it's in here.
happens when you have a good idea at the end of the service.
Yeah, there it is.
Ooh, well done.
Yes, absolutely. And here we go. Our Kaddish.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
And with that, we bring our Shabbat worship service to a close. Cantor Ariel and I, Dr. Ray Irwin, and all of us wish you and your family truly all the best and a Shabbat Shalom, a restful weekend. Remember, be safe, stay calm, and wash your hands. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Ray. Shabbat Shalom.